On behalf of AmWestEntertainment.com, I'm Joe Christopher, joined by the incomparable one, Pat Cummings, via the power of Skype from Chicago to Dubai. And Pat, here in Chicago, the snow's been melting. Temperatures have been in the low 40s. I saw where it actually rained a little bit in Dubai the last couple of days.
Yeah, and some fairly heavy rain at that, Joe. So how the track plays, we'll find out. But 20 millimeters of rain or so on Monday into Tuesday morning, and it's been beautiful here. Really clear skies, some kind of crisp temperatures in the air, and when it gets down into the mid 60s Fahrenheit, that's a cold streak here in the UAE.
Well, without getting into too much detail, because this is a family show, you enjoying yourself?
Having a great time, Joe, as always.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to being there myself for Dubai World Cup week at the end of March. Let's jump right into week 3 action, Pat. Don't forget this video is brought to you, as always, by AmWestEntertainment.com. You can find all kinds of Carnival information there, including live video on race days. Partner website is amwager.com. If you like to play the races and you like to enjoy yourself and you like to be taken care of by the people who offer you this opportunity, visit amwager.com for more details and sign up for an account today. Week 2 recap, Pat. I thought when you sent me the bullet points it was going to say something about you crushing the bankroll challenge, but it didn't. I know that you're very modest. We'll get more details on how well you did wagering-wise a little bit later on, but give us a recap of week 2.
Well, to me, the biggest takeaway of that week was Mubtahij in the UAE 2000 Guineas trial, just demolishing the field by 5 lengths. He really impressed. And now it's maybe some Kentucky Derby dreaming going on in the Mike DeCock yard. They've nominated Mubtahij to the U.S. Triple Crown, and the plan here seems to be to go to the 2000 Guineas, then the UAE Derby. And if he wins or runs second in that, that's pretty much a sure thing to get into the Kentucky Derby. So some more naturally growing UAE Derby into Kentucky Derby dreams here, as opposed to maybe just taking kind of one shot in the UAE Derby and moving on. Seems like a little more grown, a little more thought out than it's been from some others who have tried that in the past, and I like it. Ronaldo the Wizard, the magic is back for Ronaldo, Joe. He wins the Dubai Stakes at the ripe old age of 9. I felt like last week I kept calling him 8. He's 9, and he got back to the winner's circle. First time since taking the Golden Shaheen of 2013. That was an impressive performance. He really ran away from the field. In my, deep in places I don't talk about at parties, Joe, I think that race took a lot out of all the different horses in there. Just a sentiment. They really burned hard on the front end. We'll see how everyone comes back from that. And then Le Bernardin was a very impressive winner. He was really a hit-or-miss horse for us last week. We went with the miss, and he hit. So good for them and good for connections. But Le Bernardin, who was a horse who used to run in America, was a stake winner at Monmouth Park, and he got a nice Carnival win last week.
With the connections involved and back on dirt, Mubtahij has a chance maybe to advance on, like you said, to races like the Kentucky Derby, which makes it all that much more exciting for the U.S. folk who are paying attention to the Carnival this year. Ronaldo is an awesome racehorse, Pat. This horse wins on all surfaces, and he looked really good winning on dirt the other day. And La Bernardin proving that you can come back off a week layoff to win on the dirt track at Meydan. Pat, on Thursday, January 22nd, we've got a post time of 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, 7 thoroughbred races, and the featured race is going to be on the grass, 1,400 meters. It's a $250,000 Al Fahid Fort. It's a Group 2 safety check. Anaerobio and the up-and-coming and very intriguing Red Ray will be in attendance for that event, but we're going to start with race number 2, and I know you've got some video input on this event.
Well, we do indeed, Joe, and we take it back to opening night of the Carnival, where we had 5 horses from this handicap come back, and they all came back in this one spot, or they all rather started in this one spot, and really a lot of different horses that are impacted here. So let's go back to this video. This is the race that featured Henry Clay, who was our selection. He's the leader on the rail at this point. In between horses, just behind him, is Torchlighter. On the rail is Dragon Falls in the all-blue colors. On the extreme outside, we have Farrier. And then back on the inside, in the white cap, next to last on the rail, is Busker. And as we play out this race, Look, Henry Clay just gets run down by I'm Back. I was particularly intrigued by the run that we saw from Busker, who came from well off the pace. The pace wasn't all that strong in here. Torchlighter and Henry Clay went at it. Torchlighter packed it in. Busker came from well off the pace. He had to do some slaloming through the field, but he had a fairly inside trip. He's a horse that normally is slow in the stride, and the thing about this, Joe, to me, is that he really showed he got over the dirt, and he was able to take that kickback, and that, to me, was a good sign for him. He is a Carnival winner in the past. He got over this track just fine. He now goes third off the layoff. I'm going with Busker here. Maybe a bit of a price. I think Henry Clay will get plenty of attention, as will the new Scandinavian import Energia El Gigante, who was in the Dubai Racing Comprehensive, mentioned as one to watch. He's unbeaten on dirt. But for me, I sided with Busker here on a 6-1 morning line.
Yeah, this race could go one of two ways. It could be a strong race these horses are coming out of, or in my opinion, a not so strong race. Henry Clay was game in finishing second on opening night, but I went a completely different direction with number 6. How do you say his name? Fasoda?
Fat Soda?
Fat Soda?
Yeah. You're going to get a price there, Joe.
He's never been on dirt. The horse is going to go forward, shows speed on the grass, has been competing against some decent competition, has a pretty good overall record, and I'm not sold on that race that many of these are coming out of. So I'll take a little bit of a shot there. Let's move on. Go ahead.
Oh, no. What I want to do is I want
to try to get out of that, Pat, before you actually said something.
I'm sorry, Joe. Can't let this one get by you. But Energia El Gigante wants to go forward. Henry Clay does. Fat Soda does. And Torchlighter. So there's 4 of them that want to run forward in there. Could be maybe 1 or 2 others. That, to me, I saw as problematic, and that's why I went with an off-the-pace and slow-starting Busker.
And on some occasions, you see 4 horses that are supposed to go to the lead, and only one of them does, or one sits off the pace that you expect to go forward. So we'll see.
That happened last week in the race with Hoffa Guinea that we use as the best bet of the day and banked everything around. It looked like it was going to collapse, and it was actually pretty slow.
They barely got up in time. More on that a little bit later on, Pat. Race 3, 5 Sons of Street Cry will compete in this event. It's 10 furlongs on the dirt. Purse is $60,000, and one of those Sons of Street Cry is your morning line favorite of 5-2. Programmed as number 10, leaves from gate 6. He is Street Act. Second last week, beaten 4 lengths plus by the winner in that event.
Yeah, Lael with a fairly nice run, and we'll probably see more from him as the Carnival rolls by. These are local horses, Joe. The race only open to them. I think Street Act is a bit of a trap in this spot. He was running on well from the back in his first start for several weeks, had a bit of a mid-season break. Clearly something probably wasn't right there, and I think you get yourself trapped if you go after him here in this spot. The truth is, I really like number 2, Jala, in here. That last race, to me, was just a seasonal leg stretcher for him. He ran a race here where he beat Stormbelt and Henry Clay last year. That, to me, is top form. He comes in here as the second highest weight. It's kind of interesting. Pat Dobbs rides him because both Paul Hannigan and Dane O'Neill have gone elsewhere. But Jala maybe escaped them off of what happened last time. That was a prep. This is the real thing, and I still think the value is going to be there because a lot of people will remember what Street Act did last time, and I think they'll also see what Cry Joy did locally, and they'll hop on that. I like Jala here at a price, made him the Amwager value play of the day, 8-1, and if we can get anywhere near that, I think I'll be happy and I'll be jumping.
Yeah, I think Cryjoy's got a chance to continue to progress in his career. Tactical speed, proper rest, as I mentioned, seems to be on the improve. Sylvester D'Souza is aboard Cryjoy, 7-2 in the morning line, and I landed there in race number 3. Race 4, Pat, $120,000 U.S. up for grabs in this 1,800-meter grass event. MDK has 3 horses in here. Rock Cocktail, Umgio. That's what I was gonna say. And of course, one of your all-time favorites, Diesel Leader, who you actually had a chance to visit with at the barn this week since you've been in Dubai. Did you give this horse a pep talk? He seems to need one.
Look, he's just a classic old fella. He's friendly to be around back in the barn. He was a little tough to get in there with, but he's a good fella. And once you kind of get a hold of him, I mean, he's just a really nice old horse. He gives you everything he has. Hasn't won in Dubai, and honestly, I've lost track of how many starts he's had. It's been plenty, but it'd be great to see him get one. It's not going to hurt him getting back on the grass here, I don't think either. The horse that we need to kind of talk about and focus, Joe, is number 5, Pelote. There's really no argument here that this horse ran a really good race back in the Singspiel Stakes against a much better field, at least in my opinion, than what he gets in this spot. Let's go back to that Singspiel Stakes. He's last on the rail here at this point, carrying the cornflower blue colors of Sheikh Hamdan's Faza Racing. And Pelote just kind of works his way up here on the inside, comes across the back of horses to get out into some clear running, runs on to be a very good third. And it looked to me like it was an impressive stretch drive. I don't think he was ever getting the true story who looks like an up-and-comer. Mushrek was certainly solid. The form through Sanshawas is good too. We'll probably see him back in another week or so. But what caught me here were the sectional times. If we go back to the Trackers data, and this is where the Trackers stat of the day comes in, Pelote basically came home in the same final 400 and final 200 meter splits as the winner True Story did. That caught my attention. This was a solid run home. He's back on the turf, same trip, and I think he'll get some pace to run out here between Ocean Tempest, Tenor. Those two especially will go forward. Our channel can show some speed too. I think they go on with it. Pelote comes and picks him up, and I've also made him the Amwager best bet of the day off a 3-1 morning line. If we can get anywhere close to that again, that's a jump for me.
Yeah, again, he faced two tough customers first time out, and for all the reasons you said, he's the horse to beat in there. It'll be interesting to see which one of the MDK trio runs best in race number 4. Let's move ahead to the 6th race, Pat. This is the feature. It's the Alpha Hadi Fort, sponsored by Golf News, 250,000 US. Group 2 race, 7 furlongs on the grass. Both of us were highly impressed with Safety Check on opening night. You've got Anaerobio, who raced huge in last year's Carnival. Then you've got Red Ray coming from the barn of Mike DeCock, who appears to have some upside. This could be a key race moving forward as we advance throughout the Carnival. What are you thinking in this race? It's obviously got some high quality to it.
I think it's a 2-horse race between two that you mentioned, Joe, Safety Check and Anaerobio. A lot of the others in here, I think, have questions in maybe some better company, and I think many in here are just kind of running to get third. But between Safety Check and Anaerobio, we have kind of the tale of two different horses. First, Anaerobio. Let's go back to what he did last year. This is his second up performance when he won the Alpha Hidi Fort. He's in the yellow and red silk, second horse on the rail in the nose band. He'll just kind of tip out, run straight on past the early pace setter Pearl Flute. Mishawish travels in behind. He comes back and wins the Zabil Mile later in the Carnival. It was a very good effort from Anaerobio. Solid 1,400 meters is his trip. I like him. Then you have the up-and-comer. You have Safety Check, who was a 3-year-old running at the Carnival last year, and then he makes his 4-year-old debut in handicap company here just a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, really. He's the horse in the blue silks and the white cap in between horses in this video. And look, I really liked what I saw here. He was an on-top selection for us at 8-1. You're not going to get close to 8-1 in this spot. But there's a greater question in play here, and this is something that the Dubai Racing Comprehensive has discussed, Joe. It's all about Charlie Appleby. Safety Check going second up for the Appleby yard. They're winless in Dubai. All starts after their first up. And as we said, that statistic will probably go away at some point in the future. But until it does, I just can't back a horse like this who's going to be short off a very impressive first up performance. If it happens, so be it. It's not going to be with me on board. I'm with Anaerobio here. First up, he was a first up winner last year, slightly more impressively than he was in this race a year ago. But this is where they start him this year. Anaerobio for me in the Alpha Hidi Fort.
It's impossible to argue with those company lines of That's Away versus Gadarex, Masawish, who you mentioned. Pat, my question to you is, do you think Anaerobio, and I know he's had success over 1,400 meters in the past, do you think he's a little bit better horse over 1,800?
Well, this he's only getting at 1400. So
Right.
that Jebel Hatta, where he ran third, came off the rail, big controversial performance there. I thought that was a good race against better horses. I think the Duty Free was a good race where he went forward in the early going against much better horses. This is maybe a bit of a lackluster field than this race has seen at points in the past. It's only the second year they've run it at 1,400 meters as well, so it's still trying to settle into the calendar. I still think Anaerobio is the one. The class edge is there. 1,400 for me, for him, that's his trip.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because you said Safety Check was so awesome 2 weeks ago. He's got the Appleby angle working against him, but I also think that he has a chance to continue to get better. So, in a really tough call, Safety Check over Anaerobio for me. As we move on now, Pat, to the selections. And at DubaiRaceNight.com, you can get Pat's picks, my picks, and the selections of Mackenzie Kirkerhead as well. For more detailed analysis from Pat, you can go to AmWestEntertainment.com. And, of course, you can get all kinds of great Dubai information at DubaiRaceNight.com year-round. Pat, let's get to the selections. 7 races, all thoroughbreds, and you've got some favorites and some price shots mixed in here.
Yeah, in that first race, Joe, I thought it was really a wide-open affair. A lot of different ways that you could go. I sided with Speed Hawk, another horse that was discussed in the Dubai Racing Comprehensive. Dirt pedigree up and down. He's going to go forward here and got a good run where he was beaten 4 lengths over 1,000 meters on turf. This is his first try on dirt, and if the pedigree suggests he'll go over it, I'm hoping he will, and I think he will. But again, a lot of different ways. There's a horse that ran last, Price's Truth, who's coming back in there. He could rebound. He had a bad start. So there's a lot of different ways in that first race. I'm going to kind of tread carefully there. The 5th race, I tipped number 3, Tamar Kuz, a horse we discussed on this program before. He ran well enough for me in the opening night race where he was second to Faulkner. He was a troubled trip, off slow, really rallied on. I'll tell you what, I am interested in a long shot there, number 1, Lamario. Just, they don't have to run him in this spot on dirt. He trains on dirt, but he's a turf horse typically, and the fact that they've committed him here, maybe it's just a first-up run, maybe not. I think he might go really well. Number 1, Lamario, he's the top weight in that 5th race. And then at the last race, gosh, it's just one of those mile-and-a-half turf races that I never seem to be on the right horse between these and some of those 1,000-meter turf sprints, although we got one on opening night with Hatoto. Here I'm signing with Jutland for Doug Watson, 12-1 morning line. Ran 5th in this race a year ago, beaten 2 lengths, and it should be noted that this race last year produced the eventual Dubai Gold Cup winner in Sir Tarek. Excellent result, a City of Gold winner. He's in here too. And I don't think Elidor is without chance for Mick Shannon. The last horse Mick had in the UAE was a Carnival winner. That was Heli Carnassus back in 2010 over this same course and distance. So Jutland for me in the finale.
All right.
How about you, Joe?
Well, here are my picks. I'm going to go with a little bit of a price in the wide open first race, and he has been decent on dirt in the past. Ran pretty well in a needed race that may be a key race moving forward 2 weeks ago. Put Soda at 30-1 for me in race number 2 as a long shot. Cry Joy, I think, has a promising future. That'll be my pick in race 3. Rock Cocktail, I don't know how the 2 Ducock horses are going to come back fresh in this race. Either one of them could race well. I just have a feeling on Rock Cocktail, and the price is going to be decent. Tom Marcuse, he hung going 1,400. Now he's going to try to go 1,600. I don't know. I can't take him at 2-1. Who knows what that horse is going to do? Last time was the time to have him when he paid a big price to place. I'm going to go with Hatek in that race as a 3-1 second choice. Safety Check to make it 2 in a row. And Pat, excellent meeting, was very good to me in the Bankroll Challenge last year. I know he's going to be one of the favorites, if not the choice. off the layoff for Godolphin in race number 7, but he has a huge class edge here, and I think he's the one that race 7 goes through. Excellent result for me in the finale. Time for the 2015 AmWest Bankroll Challenge, and Pat made some wonderful picks in week number 1, but it did not result in deposits into his bank account in week 1. In week 2, it was a different story. Your key horse came in and he cashed all of your tickets, Mr. Cummings.
It was a good day. It felt good. Winners across the board, and now into the green for the year, or into the black, if you will.
Right.
It's always nice. Red is definitely not one of my favorite colors.
Well, we
But
both
you know all about the red this week.
Well, we both hit the pick 3. I just spent a lot more to hit it. I think I spent $60 and you've spent 25, and that's the power of the single. And your single got up by this much. So a lot of times horse racing, my friends, is a game of inches. Pat, let's take a look at your wagers for this week, and we've got quite a few different kinds of approaches and different races here for week number 3.
Yeah, I really spread it around, Joe, and I'm kind of banking my early ones on
My
the
graphics
third
guy,
race.
Danny, thanks you for all the extra typing.
I'm sure he does. That's why we pay him the big bucks. Number 2, Jala in the third race is a banker for me, basically, and as is number 5, Pelote in the fourth. So I'm just going to mess around with a couple of these smaller wagers in that race 2. I'm going to take 4 horses there and then end it with single Jala and Pelote. In the third, I had $8 left over, so we'll put it to win on Jala, 8 to win on Jala. Going to also play a trifecta there, Jala over Hunting Ground, Sefri, and Street Act with all. Hunting Ground, one of the more aptly named horses. There's a little hidden meaning in there, so feel free to take a look back at the pedigree. In the fifth, Pelote, single him on top in a try, using tenor and stealer with everybody. That fifth race, that try could pay a heck of a lot if Lamario were to win over Tamarcuz. We'll take a shot there, and the all button is our friend here in some of these trifectas. If we can get a 20 or 30 to 1 shot, then it will be boom shakalaka, not like the horse who's racing in race number 5. And then in the fifth, I play a pick 3, and then we'll end it with a trifecta. I really like this play, Joe. 2-5 with 1-2-5-10 with all. If Jutland or Elidor wins, and then one of those other 4 horses runs in the second spot, I think that could be really bombs away in the last.
Yeah, and you know what, Pat? You made a good point earlier in the bankroll sequence there. We're talking about these trifectas and the all button. It seems to me that when you get a long shot somewhere in the trifecta, even if the favorites are in either one of the top 2 spots, it blows up the gimmick. So remember, the all button is always your friend, but it's even more so your friend during the Dubai World Cup Carnival, because we've seen some really big trifecta prices. Let's look at my selections here. Merheef at Soda, Rock Cocktail in Win Place Strategies, race number 5, Hafek, who I think is the horse to beat, just $22 to win on him. And in the 6th race, I went with the trifecta strategy, King Safety Check on top, using Anaerobio and Red Ray for second, and then hitting that all button for third, $16 on that wager. Pat, any final thoughts? When do you return to the States, buddy?
I'm back in time for next week's activities. I will be at Jebel Ali for their card on Friday. It should be a great card, the Jebel Ali Mile, pulling for Shamal Nebraska. Have to give a big shout-out, though, to the folks that own Belgian Bill, who won last week at the Carnival. I'll tell you what, the Emirates Entertainment Racing Club, we've mentioned them, talked about them in the past. They do a heck of a job really kind of galvanizing local horse ownership here in the UAE, and was really excited for them and happy for them. Belgian Bill winning in their colors. They've really planned on bringing him out for a long time, and it was an exciting win in a 16-horse turf handicap where 16th place was beaten 4 3/4 lengths. Those were some tight races last week. Really enjoyed the racing there. Think there's some good opportunities this week and plenty more to come.
Well, when you finish 16th and you only get beaten 4 lengths, not as bad as it normally is when you finish 16th. So best of luck to all the connections of that race and every race that owners are involved in the Carnival moving forward. Don't forget, you can follow Pat and I on Twitter. Of course, I'm guessing you're going to be part of the broadcast again on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be with Lauren King, Stephen Molyneux, Edward Sadler on the Dubai Racing Channel. I'll tweet out the link if you don't already have it and can watch some of that there. And certainly the AmWager feed that'll have those Carnival odds up and everything still active as well. All the links, Amwager Entertainment, amwestentertainment.com rather. Go to the Dubai Racing information page. You'll find all that there.
First post for Thursday will be 9:45 Eastern Time. That is in the USA. And for the incomparable Pat Cummings joining us from Dubai this week, I'm Joe Christofek. Enjoy week 3 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival.